very briefly, I'm going to ask Lexi Sunberg. We've had a number of questions about the conflicting messaging on crime data, whether crime is increasing or whether crime is decreasing. And of course, that in some ways depends on where you live. But I've asked Lexi to take about 5 minutes to give a quick overview of some of the data that she's found, and then we'll provide this as a report to all the sites, and we'll put that on Circle. But Lexi, if you will take a few minutes just to give us an overview.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Lexi. You might have seen me in emails asking for your stories. That will also be on the resource tab. And if you haven't yet, then I will be sending you an email very soon. Um, but I am a research assistant for ACT and so yeah, I was asked to do like Jim said, to kind of look into the crime reporting, the crime trends over the past couple of years and report back to you. Tanner, if you could go to the next slide. Thank you. So really quickly, the crime data is collected by two different organizations. Can everyone hear me, by the way? Yes?
Yes, we're good.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Crime data is collected by two different organizations. On the whole, the FBI puts out their uniform crime report every year in January, and then the Bureau of Justice Statistics does a national crime victimization survey every year as well. The FBI collects data from participating law enforcement agencies in 2023, which is the most complete recent data that we have. Over 85% of law enforcement agencies reported their data. So it covers about 94.3% of the population. So not 100%, but like a good amount of the population is reported in this crime report. If you've reported a violent crime, the FBI has said that of the 12 major metropolitan areas, over 1 million people, all 12 of them have reported 12 months of data. So it's a really complete, almost complete picture of reported crime. This only measures crime reported to law enforcement. So if you have not reported a violent crime, then that does not count. And then the Bureau of Justice Statistics does a self-reported survey. Basically, they call about 140,000 households and say, have you been a victim of a crime in the past 6 months? And reports the answers. That's more demographics information. If you're really looking for like statistics based on like race or ethnicity or type of crime, that's where you find that best. And that only measures non-fatal crimes because they interview victims, so murder doesn't count. But that also can include crime that was not reported to the police. One of the questions is, did you report this to law enforcement? Next slide, please. So this is the crime trends in 2023. I'm going to show you some statistics, and then there'll be a graph at the end to really, for those who are more visual. Crime is actually down 3% from 2022. You can look at all those breakdowns. Murder is down 11.6%, which is the largest drop in 20 years. Rape is down 9.4%. Just a side note, rape's definition was changed in 2023. So this is like, it's confusing, but this is the new definition of rape, and it is down 9.4%. Aggravated assault is down 2.8%. Robbery is down 0.3%. There was an increase in motor theft, 12.6%, and shoplifting, 15%. That is probably due to pandemic reasons. It's a little bit too soon to tell why that is trending upwards, but most experts think it's because it's ramifications from the pandemic. Next slide, if you would, please. And then we have some crime trends for 2024 in the first quarter. So this compares only January through March from 2023, and then January to March in 2024. So this is not the whole year. It's just kind of a snapshot of those quarters. And crime is down 15.2% from 2023 quarter one to 2024 quarter one. Murder is down 26.4%, rape down 25.7%, aggravated assault down 12.5%, and robbery down 17.8%. So on a whole, crime is trending downwards in pretty big numbers, pretty good numbers. If you will go to the next slide. There is reports of increases in violent crime. There's one statistic that goes around that says there's a 40% increase in crime. recently, and that is true to a point. So the 40% increase in crime that you hear a lot that is the increase from 2020 to 2023. Now, 2020 is a weird year, as we all know and can remember. But crime uh, was at a historic low that year because everyone was inside. Lots of factors contribute to that. And then 2021 and 2022 were bounce back years. So those 3 years of reporting are really anomalies, and we shouldn't, like, yes, crime is up 40% from 2020, but it's an anomaly. Really, if you want to compare it to pre-pandemic levels, we are back about the same as 2019 in terms of crime levels. And so the downward trajectory of crime is back to normal. Um, it's not statistically different from 5 years ago, according to the FBI. And then last slide is our lovely graph. So if you can read that graph, crime is down 50% since 1990, from 1990 to 2022. That's a crazy amount of like decrease. And it has been continuously going down, down, down. I mean, besides that one blip in the pandemic, uh, it's really efforts like intervention and um, like community development that are bringing this further down. And so that's a lot of you guys, of what you guys are doing. Um, yeah. So on the whole, crime is going down. That doesn't mean there isn't crime, but that does mean that our communities are getting safer and a lot more, uh, yeah, community minded, I guess. And that is my report. I will have all this information and all my sources in the report, probably put on Circle. Um, so that will be there for you to access soon.
Thanks, Lexi. This crime data is important, particularly as we connect and relate to, interestingly enough, one of the reasons Walmart is very concerned about youth deflection is they employ about 480,000 young people between the ages of 18 and 25, and they're the largest youth employer in the country. And they're wanting to keep young people out of the system so that they can be employed. And they're providing a variety of belonging resources to connect young people to community efforts. And Act Now and what we're doing in these pilot sites is giving them some guidance on how to do that. So we'll post this material from Lexi, and we'll probably have a more thorough discussion, particularly on youth crime, a little bit later.